Good morning, everybody. Got a couple of quiet days, as you can see, trading with inside that green bar. And markets are up here this morning. There's some news. Dan mentioned something about somebody talking about predicting cuts, 2, 3 cuts. I'm kind of sick of hearing it. You know, every little blip about interest rate cuts or the lack thereof or whatever. Clearly it's in an uptrend. 5,000 on the S&P 500 is a big sticking point. Um, hasn't been able to get over it. Maybe today we'll see. There's a big open interest there, and inputs and calls. So kind of like pinning it. Let's see if he can get through it. Maybe it's be some kind of a pop if he can get through it. We'll see. So far, it's been a pretty tough spot. And it's nothing's been happening here. At this little run up here from around 7:30 or so. And so as I look at this and I wonder, you can see where the cursor is on the daily chart. Whatever it ran up, it couldn't get through that pivot high on the hourly chart at the top of that bar. Now, maybe it does. Maybe over the next 25 minutes, it gets through it or it goes sideways there. And I suspect if it doesn't pop through it relatively quickly, or maybe the NQs push higher, sellers are going to come in and be like, oh, no, it's not going, and that's how trading is intraday. Now you get patterns, people see it, momentum picks up, others jump on board, reaches the next reference point, jiggles around there, and they can't push through it. Others they start to sell, and it goes back and forth, and maybe makes a higher low. In any event, things are relatively tight. Day before yesterday, that low was a little shelf of support, which lines up with the prior day. So there you have it somewhere in here, and there's the resistance up there. It's relatively tight. Maybe today's the day that you get some kind of a push up in there. For now, not much. Yeah, the S&Ps are something, Alex, to be taking note of. But let's just say you have a select few looking at the S&P, and you've got the world looking at SPX and that 5,000 level, and all the options that are open there at that 5,000 level. So that's the real, I say, focal point. Not really so much the futures. If the futures are ahead of the number, that really reinforces what we already know, is that buyers are aggressive, and so the futures get ahead of the cash. But ultimately, the S&P or SPX, has to get through there. And right now, you can see they're right here. They're, based on where SPY is, they're like right there and within striking distance. And you see the put strike with this enough premium is just, it's too damn close. And so what we should look for, if you're going to do a credit spread here, 0 DTE, is if these markets push up. By the way, neither of these 2 days even got close, even though it was tight, didn't get close to either strike. But if we get some strength, either now watch the premiums, and if they increase, and they will, if the futures SPY starts pushing up, you want to be on the other side of 5,000, because it's still going to hit that as a wall. Or if it runs up toward it, maybe you can get even higher above there, which would be great. And as tight as things are, they're not no-brainers. Not no-brainers by any fetch of imagination. But things aren't moving. But what happens as things don't move, they're getting closer to moving. The markets like this can go pretty tight for a little while, but eventually something's going to give. What that is, we'll see. Either plus or minus. S&Ps, and see you're right there near that high. Same story, maybe a little bit higher. I don't know. But near all-time highs. So we'll see. We'll see they're starting to push up here a little bit. And yeah, 5,050 is now 75 by 85, 80 by 85. I was starting to push up there a little bit. So get above 5,000. See if this keeps going. And Q's not moving, showing some relative weakness. They move up here a little bit, but not clearing these highs. We'll see if they can break out. It's a good pattern for that, where it's, going sideways at this resistance, little downside shakeout, pops right back up again, going sideways. And you see the resistance. Let's see if he can get through it. If it goes back down here, odds are it starts to break down, but we'll see. So far, it continues to act in a bullish way. Russell down near the lows, tried to move up yesterday, jiggled around back and forth. And you can see that little rally that occurred. Look at the W bottom. We talked about W bottoms and V bottoms yesterday. And, maybe more, I don't know, complex bottoms, whether they're head and shoulders or just flipping back and forth. Yesterday morning, there was a lot of that. Just flip-flopping. Just a lot of hesitancy about one way or the other. Things held up relatively well. And it's got this congestion to the left, but remember, this is where we were looking for this to push up there, and the Fed announcement, whenever Jerry started talking about, you guys aren't going to get your Christmas presents, and down it went. And so now starting all over again, down near support. The Dow has been doing a lot of nothing, running in place, but holding up there. Nothing much there. The weekly chart does have a little bit of a range expansion bar. So far this week is trading inside of it, so no big deal. The bottom of that bar becomes key support. You can see the consolidation there. Right now, uptrend. Let's do it. Let's see if it can get going here. Bitcoin doing a lot of nothing still. If it can clear 44,000, it should take off. GBTC, similar pattern, alerts at the top, alerts at the bottom, deep retracement, back up again. It's tight. Leave it alone until it can break one way or the other. Set your alerts. The dollar is down a little bit. It's no big deal. No big deal at all. It's been grinding higher. You can see compared to the euro, it's down. This come down near this pivot here. So it's close to where it's going to find some buyers, but it went sideways for 2 weeks and broke lower. This is a mess. Even if it pops up, unless you're, day trading, it's like, who cares? You need a wide range bar up here to start thinking this is going to go higher. Interest rates hit its resistance and backed off a little bit. Nothing going on here. Zippo. Wide range bar up, hits resistance. So far consolidating there. Will it go up? Will it go down? Waiting for whatever's going to move this market. So far, some impressive moves intraday. Of course, what we were just looking at. Zoom. Okay, what are you going to do now? Yeah, Ethereum looks pretty similar to Bitcoin. I mean, if they're going to move, it's going to move. I think they'll move together. And you can see, this little blip there, and little not nasty, but on a 5-minute chart, kind of, for a nice move like that coming out of this consolidation, you don't want to see it just fall back like that vertically straight down. See if it rebuilds again at this support and starts moving up. But I would call this is still in development mode. So what we would, when you see a pattern like this, I don't care what it is, everything's the same. It breaks out, it breaks down, it recovers. Now, if it can close green today, that's a great start because that sets up a move to potentially go higher because look at the hourly chart and you can see how it comes up. It's at resistance. So of course, not of course, but you're going to get some kind of reaction at that resistance. And now if it can recover from this, that's positive because this shows short-term trading. Yeah, great. Get the hell out of the way. And I'm not confident enough to hold on. If they were confident, it would go sideways at resistance, what we call absorbing supply. So they're nervous. But if it holds up by the end of the day in this area, we can come back to this. Or if it should go higher for whatever reason, say it comes up here and it hangs there, that really opens up the door to a pattern that gives us a lot more confidence that it could go higher. It's not there right now. So development mode. There's a few other things. Coin broke down yesterday. This looked like maybe it was going to get going. We'll see if it holds this pivot. Doesn't make a 1, 2, 3 lower. Because it's got a pretty decent weekly chart. Now, if this can turn into a bottoming tail bar this week, that would be amazing for a long. But it isn't yet. Not even close to amazing. It's basically stay away for now. We looked at interest rates, the transports. They had a good day yesterday. Um, at resistance, let's see if they can hold on to the gain. So no matter what we look at, it's like, okay, there's some positives, there's some negatives. Which way are things going to go here? So we wait. So this has got, I think, 30 more stocks. So within those 30 stocks, something has been doing well. I think Uber's in there, and I think Lyft did well yesterday. I'm not sure. I think Uber's in the ETF, Lyft maybe, but JBHT did well yesterday. So this is a very positive sign. As we look at the broader markets doing nothing, which ways interest rates are going to go, the dollar going to go, all of that we've been talking about. Yet the transports do an amazing day. So that's a big plus. Nonetheless, we need to see other markets participate as well. And so here's the canary in the coal mine, so to speak, is still in an uptrend, but SMH has done really well. Can it go sideways here and break out? Where I think the markets, you will see 5,000 and probably better in the S&P. And so can it go sideways here and break above this area, or does it break below yesterday's low? So set an alert below yesterday's low, set an alert above these highs. And then, of course, the regional banks and this New York bank, which was turned to junk, right, rated as junk last night after the close, and that gapping down again. So markets don't seem to care too much about it, but at some point, maybe they do. So I'll keep an eye on that. What do I think about the Chinese equity potential bottom? I could give a darn. I think the Chinese and Joe Biden should do whatever they're going to do and leave us the hell alone. Let's pay attention to this market. And I don't know, everybody, that's another thing out there. If China's doing so bad, what's happening? What's going to happen with America? Who's going to buy our bonds? And yada 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 yada. The market doesn't seem to care much about anything other than buying the dip, and so we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't trade China market ETFs or those stocks, so maybe they do. Maybe it keeps going down. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. Got my big computer up after a few tries. So it's like a beaten down truck. I don't know how long it's gonna last, but I got my laptop here. Well, let's go right to earnings. I don't have many alarm's going off. Actually, GNRC alarm. This was a put spread. It's popping here. That's it in terms of opens. Let me come up here to earnings. Ford, nice 180 gapping up. You know, it's bullish, but I don't see any entry in the near term. Snap. I actually personally did a short straddle strangle. And so the put side's going against me. And I clearly said in the green room, I said, this thing has burned us a number of times. I mean, that's such a beautiful bullish pattern. And that is a nasty gap. So I'll just deal with that. FTNT up a lot. That's a big old gap, but no pattern. VFC 15 gap into this prior low. It's a bearish gap, but support, I don't see any interest. Guilds under a green bar. I don't see anything to do there. Echo Whiskey, too extended, small gap down, no pattern. ENPH. I shorted the 78 puts myself, so I'm getting a nice gap on that. I'm just bidding a penny to close it. Something happened with these Yum and Yum C. It was either, I forget the news, but yeah, they're trading very differently. Yum C here, big old gap, but Yum YUM is down. Amgen, short-term top, could be a call spread for Friday. Satish 74, bearish gap, no pattern, but this would have been a beautiful continuation pattern had it open flat, but gap must have. I'm deleting a number of these just because I don't even think they're going to turn into anything that's going to interest me. But folks in the green room always have great ideas. They'll flag it for me if something sets up. I got plenty to watch myself. QGen, gapping. See this is our retracement. MT live. Just eyeball that. It's like 40% into that. So for the strength of this, it better hold right here. I have on YouTube asking about, look at the volume yesterday. They were buying that into earnings though. CRWS, is this a bullish pattern, low volume, but real company? Yes, it is. Pavel, yes. Yeah, it's a bullish consolidation. I'd say, the upper 50% of this two thing, the weekly is bullish. You got two inside weeks of this. So yeah, set an alarm at 525. Sure. Let me actually I'll send these to myself. Let me get through earnings and then I'll look at yours. Fresh. So huge. Let's see if the whole fresh 2278 gap in resistance, put spread at best. ZWS, I don't see any gaps, but people were buying that into earnings. UDR, I don't like the overlapping bars. I don't see a gap. You're gone. ELF, I was looking at the 140 puts. There wasn't enough juice. 179. That's bullish all time frames. I remember when I was watching this as a Climo on the monthly. This thing got so crazy extended. So notice, even though it's a new high, notice it fell $45 on that Climo. But nothing to do now. Oscar India, That's a bullish gap, sloppy as can be. We'll come back to it. Could be a put spread. EQH, I think I have an alarm at 32.90 from yesterday. On DEI, it's kind of a sloppy climo. Let me set an alarm 12.92. Sono 1823 bullish gap. Excessive for me. Rexer 50 bearish gap in the middle of no man's land. So this could be a day trade short. Rexer up a couple bucks. 21.80. Bullish gap, but gap and resistance. You need a pullback. Through looks like it's opening flat. We'll come back to it. 22.80 gap and resistance. LMC, no gap. Volto. It's a nice end of day base on the 15. If this opens flat, could be a day trade long. Weatherford, I posted this as that's a nice gap as a possible put spread. Yeah, I posted these pre-market. So I know Weatherford was on that list. And then that's, I posted at like 8 a.m. So, but Weatherford still looks good. TENB, gap's too big. We aren't going to get any premium, but that would have been a put spread idea. VSAT shows a gapping down a little bit. Oh, you can set an alarm yesterday's high. Mister, I was looking at selling puts, would have worked out fantastic because $3 on this monster is nothing. Actually, let's set an alarm at 507. See if it can recover that gap and move a little bit into resistance. It's moves with a Bitcoin. Jack Henry, no pattern. Herb, put spread the 46s if there's any juice. ARI, gapping up a little bit here. 1050 put spread if there's any juice. Yeah, I see a print up here at 1120. The target would be 1150, so not a big target. CNO, no pattern. INSP was a closing breakout. I don't see any prints, but it shows it down $8. We'll come back to it. Cross 80. Wow, that's gapping to multi-month highs, but no entry. A10 came down hard, maybe 30-minute high. CNF down $2. Kind of. I don't see much volume that will come back, but that could be a call spread. Mercy, wow, that's a big old gap. I thought this was a real company. And look at that daily, weekly, monthly look horrible. Into gapping down, kind of an M top, call spread. Docs shows it down 81. Let's set an alarm at 93 because if it recovers, then it's a bullish daily. Alpha Bravo, no pattern. ASTL, no pattern. Warren 39, gap in a support. No interest. Yesterday I had better earnings gappers than I do today. Boya, I don't see a gap, but that's just a pattern I'm just not excited about. This one gapping down $10. Crap. That's nasty. Possible gap and snap, 30-minute high. We'll come back. SEMO gapping up big. All right, almost done here. AIZ. Let's set an alarm at 169.50 because it's a big trading range. So if it opens flat or higher, it's a put spread idea. 169 spot 40. Lecture down a little bit, no pattern. AFG, no pattern. Wow, not. Oh, these were pre-market earnings. Okay, so I'm not done. That's 74, bearish gap, no pattern, Chinese stock. Uber, it's had an incredible run, blowout earnings, but I guess they were looking for more. Oh, I mentioned Lyft yesterday. I said it's going to move. It's going to move. Well, it's actually holding well. You know what? Let's now set an alarm 1334 on Lyft. If I can recover, then that's this could be a home run entry. It's a catch-up trade, daily, weekly, monthly. I actually I think it's on my core long list. Emerson, Lake and Palmer, gap, big gap, no pattern. Hilton, these hotel stocks have been on a tear. All right, now that's a good call spread candidate. I have Roblex. Oh, Roblex. I'm going to put Hilton here. That's a nice call spread. All right, yeah, see, oh, Young was down more earlier, no pattern. BBD. I was hoping we would get a 1, 2, 3 when I saw it this morning. But now it's nasty, so no interest. CDW, if it gaps up, is a put spread idea. Roblex. I did I forget, 33.50 of short strangle. So I still got $5 of comfort. So I'm bidding a nickel to close. We'll see if I get filled or not. Fox A, $33. That's a big old gap. And they did some deal. Charlie Golf, 42.90. Shoot, earlier I saw, look, see my 41.90 alert went off this morning. This was going to be my best gap trade of the morning if it opened at 41.90. But now it's gapping bigger. I have it on the other computer, but that's a nice gapper. Actually, I like Charlie Golf better than CDW, so let's put that there. Fox related to Fox A, Bravo Golf. DEI, ACCD, alarms. This is a beautiful breakdown failure. I said yesterday, if it opens flat. All right, so this I'm liking. Now let's give it 5 minutes or so. All right, Bravo Golf, who was on my gap list, but now it's not anymore. ACCB is going on my long list. All right, so see Bravo Golf pre-market. See, my alarm went off at 92. That would have been a beautiful put spread idea, but not anymore. Gapping down. Mess. Days getting, ooh, days. That's an ugly gapper. Wow, Sam, look at XPO. Wow, we got shaken out down here at $87.6. And that, I'm sure this is helping out the transports. XPO's a shipper. You know what? that is so far from the 20 now. That could actually be a call spread, 30-minute low. New York Times, ugly gap. I hope they go out of business. All right, those are all the earnings. Well, it took longer than I thought. All right, Hilton bottom right, negating the gap down. So the bulls are not giving up on hotels. Just quickly check H and Marriott. Marriott basing like a champ. And the White House looks lower. All right, builder. Yeah, yeah, it's a housing stock. TGT. Oh, nice gap breakout. Yeah, sure. All right, Bravo Golf rallying. Oh, my Roblox coming in. So good. Let me see where my midpoint is on Roblox. My midpoint is 7 cents and I'm bidding a nickel. That's probably because of spreads. Sam, you did this one too, right? Actually, they are. All right, I'm going to bid 6 cents. And if I don't get filled in 5 minutes, I'll change it to 7 cents, but I should get filled as it's coming in. Filled. All right, cool. I'm out at 6 cents, Sam. I sold it at, I forget, 58, 68, I forget. All right, so I'm done with Roblox. I did this one, the 788s, and snaps against me. I gotta put him on the do not trade earnings list. That thing is, he's burned me on the downside a few times. I gotta be honest. But I remember, even though it's burned me, I think I was able to get out break even nevertheless. And you know what, Sam? I sold this one at 48, and I actually put an order out to close it at 48, which is obviously only going to happen on a bounce. But otherwise, I'm going to sit through it. I only did a 1-1.